dreamy.
And then you walk into the next room and like all the furniture is on the ceiling. Everything is like opposite colors.
Did you read my notebook before we walked into this?
We are back to Recommendations Required, a podcast where two friends trying to find their next obsession, and maybe so will you. We are joined with our friend Dominic Pieri. I was gonna do an opener, but I think that's it.
Why not?
I mean, if you feel like you have anything to add, I had like a.
What was your opener? You
All right.
hooked me.
All right, let's just do it.
Here.
Okay, so do you know about the whole drafting thing?
Oh, you got a drafter.
I have a draft.
Okay, you have a draft.
I have one that I'm pretty happy with.
We're getting
Okay.
drafted.
Yeah. So
World War III, baby.
World War III. Let's go.
You got
baby.
this, or you want me to explain it?
You can explain it.
Okay.
You
Okay.
did a good job last time.
So on a previous episode, we did this draft where the concept is we used fast food as our topic, and we are each going to go around and essentially build our list of the top 5 fast food places. But
Draft picks.
yeah, like draft picks.
Gotcha.
But once I take one, you guys can't use it anymore. So we're like going through and trying to like grab them.
Isn't that kind of how fantasy football works?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's essentially a fantasy football draft, but we use a topic instead. So we used fast food. Ryan grabbed like Chipotle, I think. Not Chipotle.
No.
He grabbed Portillo's right off the bat.
Chick-fil-A.
I grabbed Chick-fil-A right off the bat. So usually like the top stuff's right at the top, and then like you start getting into the weeds down at the bottom.
I had Raisin Canes for the first time recently.
I did too. It is quite good.
What is this?
So
Raisin
good.
Canes?
Raising Canes.
Yeah.
It's a chicken strip. Or it's
Chicken strip place, yeah.
Just a chicken strip.
Just chicken strips.
I pulled up the menu to this place, right? And it's literally chicken strips, fries.
Mac and cheese.
That's it. It's chicken strips or fries. Like that's
I
all there
also
is.
heard
Did
that
anyone else get
the
that?
one I went to must have. What?
Did anyone else get that joke?
No.
Mac and cheese.
Just shut up over there. What are you talking about?
All right, I'm gonna mute myself real quick.
Okay.
Goodbye.
We'll
Wait,
just
I
keep
didn't get
talking about
that.
Raisin Canes.
Mac and cheese. What about it?
What about mac and cheese?
Mac and cheese. And the
the
chicken strips. See, it was worth it.
That was
Okay.
good.
All right.
Did
what
yours
was I
have more?
saying?
Like chicken sandwiches?
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff?
well they had chicken sandwiches too.
Oh, okay.
First
Yeah,
time,
mine.
yeah.
The one I went to just had chicken strips.
Dominic was
But
a
That's
cool
what I
one.
heard.
it was good chicken.
I
Yeah.
heard it was just chicken strips. And I went to that one. But
I thought it was quite good.
sauce is delicious.
Yeah.
The chicken
Yeah.
strips were very good. I feel
I,
like
I think it's a southern chain. It hasn't like reached up here yet.
Okay.
I don't know.
I mean,
I
there's
mean, Chick-fil-A showed up.
there's
Yeah,
two of them
Chick-fil-A
around
showed
here,
up.
I think. And there's one in Gurnee, I
I
want to say.
I had it in Minnesota, which is actually north of here. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, Southern Joint for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Southern Gurnee and north of Wisconsin.
I'm talking out of my ass over here. I don't know. But wait, yeah. What's your draft topic?
Okay.
Let's do
So
it.
we're all starting a school. Okay.
We're starting a school.
A school.
Okay.
Each of us individually are starting our own school.
Okay.
You have to pick 3 fictional characters from a movie to be the staff at this school.
Oh my god.
Who's got the best school?
Okay.
And I'm going to
Okay.
try to go fast. You'll have time to think.
Wow.
Three fictional characters.
Wow.
3 fictional characters from any
so
movie.
Abstract. Okay.
Well, the thing is, it's like, okay, how do you win fast food? Like, there's
no,
got to be.
that's fine. I get it. It's just it's a lot to consider because I'm not picking my favorite characters. I need to pick good teachers.
Yeah, and if you can come
Okay.
up with,
Okay.
you have to say who they are and what they're doing.
Like what course?
What course they're teaching. And I'm going to say, like, high school.
Fictional characters too.
Only fictional
Only
characters.
fictional characters. Wow. Okay. Okay.
I mean,
Let's have the host. Let's
Okay.
have Dominic start.
yeah,
Let's
you're
see
the,
if he
you're the
steals.
guest.
Number one.
You kick
Let's see if
us
he
off.
steals it.
Miss Frizzle from
Wow.
Magic School.
Is she in a movie? Is she in a movie?
Wow. You said fictional character.
Fictional character
we
that's
say
in
movie
a
or
movie.
fictional character?
There's definitely
movie?
There's
Let's
definitely a
look it
Magic
up.
School Bus movie. There's got to be. There's
All
got
right.
to be.
Hey, Jamie, look that up.
What? What a poll for the first go.
Unless
Wow.
it doesn't count. Hold on.
No, it'll count.
I have one locked and
I
loaded
want it
that I
in
thought
there.
you were gonna grab.
I
And I'll
was-
see if Glenn gets it.
I am just totally unprepared for this. That was such a good poll.
It was very good.
Thank you.
Man.
I'm almost like willing just to give it to him.
I feel
There
like
was Magic School Bus
That'll-
Rides Again in the Zone. It's a TV movie.
okay. There you go. It's a movie.
I'll
It's
get-
a movie.
yeah.
Kind of new.
Sure.
Wow. Okay. I mean, I'm just gonna go gut reaction. Tony Stark is teaching engineering and tech.
Great.
Would he be the most annoying teacher though?
I feel like he's gonna show up drunk.
No, he's gonna be super sarcastic and kind of rude.
It's-
You're gonna be
it's-
trying to
it's
lot of
end,
lawsuits.
Endgame
Be
Tony
like,
Stark.
"You're
Endgame
an
Tony
idiot."
Stark. He's a dad. He's evolved. Where
He's not your dad though.
Our principal, Dumbledore. Come on.
okay, that's a good one. That's a good
He's
one.
magic.
Which one?
Okay.
The one
okay.
that died or the one that's still kicking?
The good one. I'll let you
The one
decide.
that's still kicking. Yeah. The old one was so boring.
Okay. Okay.
Never mind.
zonked
Moving on.
So now it's my turn again?
He bored me to death and himself. Okay, Dominic.
God.
They said he porked me to death.
In Dumbledore sex ed.
Dude,
That's the end of this podcast. I don't know if I can do this anymore.
Dumbledore's Sex Ed is a very good band name.
I don't know if I can do this anymore. Okay. Whew. Are
So
you-
I didn't even
okay,
say what
is
Miss
he
Frizzle is teaching though.
Yeah, what is she teaching?
I guess she's just teaching.
field trips.
Yeah,
She's teaching
outdoor
field
ed. No, like science, I guess.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's
Okay.
solid
I
science
feel like
teacher.
it was
Okay.
science. Yeah.
But we're talking high school. There's no like science class. It's all different kinds of classes. Maybe
Okay,
I cornered
Okay,
myself.
I got
here.
one. I feel like you're gonna fight me on it being a movie, but it's definitely a movie.
All right, let's hear. No, it's not even
sorry,
your
it's not my
turn
turn
yet.
Dominic,
Glenn.
go. Who's your second?
The genie from Aladdin
Oh my God.
What is
as. I don't know.
I mean, I don't
Go
care
to
what he
have a
teaches.
genie
I'm down.
Teacher, yeah. Have him teach fucking
Improv. I don't know. Theater.
theater. Why theater?
Because he's always like changing shapes and throwing scenes and doing songs.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know. Why not theater?
How about like accounting? Like something really boring that he could make really fun.
All right, I'm down. I'm
Okay.
down.
Do you guys have an accounting class in high school?
I didn't go to high school.
I didn't take it, but we had one.
I took one.
And
I don't know
was
why.
it done by a genie?
It was awful.
Why'd you do that?
I don't know.
Okay, you ready?
Let's hear it.
Mrs. Doubtfire, home ec.
The character within the character? Like you
Yep,
want
Yep.
the character
Yes.
Robin
You want-
Williams
Yes.
is playing.
So there's two Robin Williams.
playing Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yes. Teaching home ec.
That's a lawsuit waiting to happen.
It's a lawsuit.
I don't know, dude. There's
Give me some funny business going on
some
there.
funny business going on there.
Hit me with something better.
For home ec,
No, who's your second? Let's go.
so our nurse
Oh, nurse.
is the robot from Big Hero 6.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
You gotta
That'd
name
be,
him.
That'd be awesome.
Come on.
What's his name?
You tell
It's
me.
like Beep Boop or something.
Beep Boop or Beep or
Um,
Boop Boop?
It's
Ba-
Betamax.
Betamax.
Yeah, that's why I said.
Betamax.
That's why I said.
Okay,
Betamax.
I do want to say.
Baymax.
I do want to say. So far, you do not have any teachers. You have a
All right, fine,
principal
fine,
and a nurse. No, you
Um,
can't change it. I'm
No,
just
you
saying
said
you
staff.
don't have a teacher.
You said
yet.
staff. You don't need a teacher.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Well, you,
these kids are just going to show up to an empty classroom. That's all I'm saying.
but they're
Please-
gonna have
please go
Dumbledore
ahead.
as the principal and Beep Boop Bop as the
Beep
nurse.
Boop Bop. Mm.
I was gonna say Heisenberg as a chemistry teacher, but like him at the farthest point into the.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The whole class is just cooking math.
How we're gonna Dumbledore's
Yo, I
on a
got
really
it.
high salary.
I got it.
Let's hear it.
Gaston
Oh my god.
not playing, as my gym teacher.
Gym teacher. That's pretty
Just
good.
your gym teacher.
Just
pretty
me.
good.
It's just a class with
pretty
just
good.
me.
Yes,
He's just
He's
force-
gonna get me
force feeding you a
shredded,
dozen
dude.
rice. Right.
such a Chad.
Oh my god.
He's gonna get me so hyped.
Okay. All I can think of is Marvel characters.
You guys swear on this podcast?
Oh,
Not particularly.
Fuck yeah.
Okay.
Well,
I guess we do.
you guys get on the same page here.
Carter, cut that.
Carter's not editing anymore. We should keep saying that.
Who was editing it?
It was me the
We should
last
just keep
episode.
saying Carter, cut that.
Oh, Carter.
Yeah.
But now he's a banker.
I think he said Connor. He works at a bank?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Man, I really don't
Just do
know.
Marvel. If it's a Marvel, it's Marvel.
That's
Marvel,
true.
Marvel.
I guess. Yeah. I'll do Captain America's teaching history.
Oh,
Captain
you
America's
had that
teaching
one?
history.
Shoot.
Oh no!
Yep.
That's literally what I was gonna. It's literally what I was gonna say. It's.
I probably could have pulled like
It's so
a
good,
character
though.
from Eternals, and it would have been better. But I'll.
But
stick
you
with
Eternals
it.
was
No, but
so
I'll stick with
bad.
it.
You saw it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I saw it.
Well, I
It was-
walked
It
out.
was
I-
quite a bad movie.
Most like the
Quick
first
side
20
note:
minutes.
how many movies have you walked out like in the theater?
Never.
I think just. Well, there was
I've
that
never-
one. There was that one, and then, Slumdog Millionaire. I went to see with my sister and my dad made us leave.
Your dad is like
Oh, really?
pretty adamant about leaving if the movie's bad because he's walked out of multiple movies.
Yeah.
Wait, like
Yeah.
you guys?
Well, my
left
dad
'cause
hates
he thought it was
basically
bad.
every kind of movie. Yeah.
He just
well,
leaves Ken
what?
Burns.
I think-
How do you
I think-
Slumdog Millionaire is bad.
I think Gino was kind of young at
Okay,
the
see,
point,
that
and
makes
he was
sense.
like, "This is too intense."
Yeah.
Was it the part where his sister has to gouge her eyes out with a
Yeah.
spoon?
I mean, this.
Is that
that's
in
that's
that
in
movie?
it. Yeah,
I never
It's-
I
it's
never
a-
watched it.
It's a messed up movie. Yeah.
it's good.
I mean,
Yeah.
It's
I
a
think-
good movie though.
think you
Yeah.
should-
I'd be shocked if you walked out of it because it was bad.
I think you
understand
should
it's
No,
read-
not
no. Yeah,
appropriate.
I definitely wanted to finish it.
Okay.
You still can. Yeah, that's a good point.
I think we still need your third pick here.
Man,
Did I do my third already?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Can I change one of them out?
nope.
no,
All these schools are
Dang.
pretty bad, guys.
I think
Mine's pretty solid.
good.
Mine's pretty solid.
You don't have teachers yet. That's your problem.
You
I'm
need
gonna-
one teacher.
I'll just pull the one I did in the past, which was Gage from The Matrix, and he would teach coding.
Okay.
Which one was
Okay.
Gage?
So this is purely a
He's-
coding school.
Oh, is he the one who teaches him kung fu?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like he's the guy at the
Mm.
beginning.
He like programs
Yeah.
the red dress code and everything, right?
No.
No,
Tank is the main guy that gets like blasted, and then I think
Oh.
Gage takes over.
Is it
Oh, okay.
Dozer?
Maybe. I don't know.
What is this podcast?
What's this podcast? That's enough, guys. Thanks for joining. This is our last and final episode.
It's been a good run.
Okay.
Mine's out. I think mine's out.
I think Dominic took it, honestly. I think he got us. Miss Frizzle just is
Yeah.
carrying your team. Carrying us.
I did Miss Frizzle and then the genie
And Gaston.
The G. Yeah.
for
You
accounting.
got a lot of magic
Then
going on.
Gaston.
And
There's a
then
lot
just
of-
a muscular
Gaston's
Chad.
just a dude. Yeah.
taking up the rear.
Magic school bus, a genie, and then just the
And then just
chattiest dude you've
a
ever
Chad.
seen.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right.
Am I taking this one? Do I win?
Yeah, you win.
You won.
Great.
Congrats.
There
What
is
do I
no
win?
prize.
All right.
You
Great.
win. You win hearing our opinions on Timber Timbre.
Timber Timbre.
You have a notepad.
I do have notes.
Sunshine.
But
So-
do you want to kick this off or what?
You got notes?
Where do you want to start
yeah.
here? Yeah. Actually, Dominic, do you actually want to like bring us in? Like, give us a like short recap of what
Yeah, it's
happened
cool. I didn't have
Yeah.
anything planned.
last episode?
Sure.
He's a guest.
Um,
Like, let him do it. Like, what'd you pitch us last episode?
Last episode, I pitched. Well, actually, I was gonna pitch one thing, and then I changed it last minute to Timber Timbre. Yeah, I recommended Timber Timbre. He's this weird kind of folksy, bluesy, this just like weird vibes. Like I have a lot of thoughts on like how I would describe the vibe, but I thought we could just
You read a Wikipedia description last episode, which I highly recommend people hear or go look up, which included, I believe, blues from an alternative universe.
It's all about
that's what it was.
swamps.
And it's
It was like a
it was
swamp,
a
They
wild
said the word
description.
swampy.
Yeah, it was a wild description. Yeah,
but kind of accurate.
but accurate.
Kinda
Okay,
fine.
Okay.
I want to open with this.
Okay.
This is not gonna explain any of my opinion, but I thought about this today, and I was like, I feel like this is the perfect explanation of someone's like, what is it like to listen to Timber Timbre by yourself, like in your setting that you're like very fall vibes. I want you guys to imagine yourself in waking up in your childhood home. Okay. It's a Saturday, and you wake up and it's dark and gloomy, and you're in your room and it's dead silent through all the house, and then you get up and you start going from room to room, and the first room's normal, except all the furniture is just in different places. And then every room you progress into gets wilder and darker and more depressing. And you're like, at first you're like, this is my room. And you're like, something's a little off. Where's my family? And then like you start to like, by like the third room, you see struggles of maybe something happened. Maybe there's like fingernail scrapings on the floor. And you're just like, huh. I don't think I'm at my home anymore.
Yeah.
And then like
there's like a dreamy
and then you walk into the next room and like all the furniture is on the ceiling. Everything is like opposite colors.
Did
like,
you read my notebook before we walked into this? It was sitting here on the table.
No, I didn't read it.
So you guys listened through the whole thing?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
multiple
whole thing.
times.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, do you like it?
Okay.
We'll get there.
But yeah, that was like that to me sums up the experience of like starting to listen to Timber Timbre and then getting to the end of it and going like, wow, that was.
You used a TV show to describe this last episode.
Spot on.
Over the garden wall.
Over the garden wall.
So spot on. So accurate. If you haven't seen Over the Garden Wall, go check it out.
Honestly, yeah.
I think it's
the
quite
more,
good.
Here's the thing, though. The more I listen to it, the more I actually moved away from that comparison. And I thought it was more of a... almost like a David Lynch, like
Literally-
Mulholland Drive.
Literally was about to
There you go.
say
Like nostalgic
There you go.
old Hollywood, like really old recording equipment and like, yeah. I was like...
Okay,
It's
so
just like that evil, spooky...
this is how I feel listening to this. So I left our last recording and played this the whole drive home. Okay, it's pitch black. There's just streetlights on. I had my windows down and it's 55 degrees outside. Like I'm freezing in my car, but for some reason I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
And then it started raining and I just left my windows down.
You did.
This is how this playlist made me feel. Okay? That's the vibe I had created listening to it the first time around. I feel like there are so many things I want to say about this music, and I cannot grasp at words for it. It's so difficult to describe. And I feel like it's almost even like the lyrics sometimes are just so abstract that like I don't know what he's trying to get at, but for some reason there is such a vivid imagery in my head when I'm listening to it.
Weird understanding
Yes.
of what he's talking about, even though you don't know what he's talking about.
And I almost felt like the best way to like describe the music is with scenery, like you just did. Like that's essentially what I wrote in my notebook here, is that as I was listening to it, it was like I was in a cabin in the dark woods and there's a fire lit in the fireplace and I'm like reading a book and I'm nice and cozy, you know, like there's a saxophone in the background, just like there. I'm vibing, you know, I'm feeling good. And then all of a sudden the like front door of the cabin like slams open and like this wind comes in and it's like cold and snowy. And I get up real quick and I close the door and I'm like, oof, that was crazy, you know, and I go sit back down and just as I'm getting cozy, there's something in the room with me. You know, like
An entity.
Like there's like an entity in the room. Like I was like, and I'm like, oh, did like something get in the door? Like, and I look around and it's my own shadow and it's me. You know, that's how this made me feel. I was like, there's a darkness in here, but like it's just me at the same time. Like it's so weird and abstract. Please,
all right,
please,
I'll take the
jump
first.
in.
I'll take the first
Oh my
swing
gosh.
at
Oh
trying
my
to explain
gosh.
how I actually like. I think overall I really enjoyed his music. I think like that's just like a.
I can't tell if was that positive or negative.
Yeah.
I will say I very much enjoyed my time with this music.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah. Hell yeah.
It's hard though because I think it's one of those. I don't know if I'll ever listen to it again. It was good. I just like.
I would also say that whole playlist that we listened through, there's a very large chunk of songs that I wouldn't listen to again. But
Yeah.
there are like a lot of songs that I have been listening to a lot.
Yeah, there's
Since
a
hearing it.
couple. I took some screenshots. There was like a couple jumps. I was like, this is a really dope song.
Mhm.
I think the one. I think this is more on you and less on the artist. You brought up this like idea of like being really thoughtful and like contemplative, and I like. So I was.
And keep in mind, this was me like just dipping my toe into it.
Okay.
When I
Okay.
was showing you guys, you know, I was like maybe heard 5 songs or something like that.
Yeah, I think I was going in with that expectation, and it led me unable to think about anything other than my mortality. Like,
What's better than that?
what's better?
What's better than that?
You know, fall vibes, pumpkin spice latte.
Yes,
I'm
spooky.
eventually gonna die, and I don't know when, and it might be worse than it might be actually worse that I live longer than I than dying sooner. Like that was like the
Yeah.
takeaway from his music. And
Yeah.
you have something to say, Glenn? Or-
No, I was pulling it up on
Okay.
Spotify because I liked songs that I was like I would definitely listen to this.
Yeah, I made a little playlist
and
of
out
like
of
re-listens.
I don't know, there's probably like 20, 25 songs on this playlist, and I did like 11 of them.
Yeah, I enjoyed a lot of the
So
music.
there's almost a 50% hit rate.
I enjoyed his stuff. I think the lyric content was really good. The music was really good. Some of his albums, it sounds like totally separate people singing because it was mixed in. I was like, is this the same guy?
Yeah, because I was looking through like when some of the albums came out, and like you can. There's a very obvious like
Style,
production style and production quality that changes from album to album.
Yeah.
But I like how within each album they're very coherent. Like
Yes.
Okay.
that would be a good like if you wanted to go a little deeper.
Yeah,
Start
see,
listening to
I
the album
just
straight
listened
through.
to the playlist you
Yeah.
sent.
Yeah.
Because there's this one album, the Hot Dreams album, incredible. If you just listen to that album straight
Okay.
through and take in like all the lyrics and everything, it's really, really good.
There was I
Um,
mean, there's still there's a song called Hot Dreams.
Yeah, that's the
which I
track
liked.
title. Yeah,
And there's songs like Hot Dreams where like there's I think it's a saxophone. I'm not a music person. But there's a saxophone that slaps. Like I'm like jamming to this song.
yeah. It was
And
the
then- yeah. And then I think the very next song in the playlist sounds like maybe it's not the next one. There's a song like shortly after it. No, it's right next. Velvet Gloves and Spit.
super different.
And it's like it's like I said, it's like you're sitting there all cozy in a chair, and then suddenly a door gets thrown open and it's freezing cold. You know, it sucked me back to like a high school dance for some reason, and like
Yeah.
the like stress and anxiety
seen
of a high
Twin
school
Peaks?
dance.
Yes.
No, I haven't seen Twin Peaks.
So that's another
Stick
David
your mic.
Lynch.
Sorry.
what?
reason?
Thank you. Restate your thing. I just can't hear what you're saying.
Oh, sorry.
Twin Peaks.
Yeah, Twin Peaks is
Peaks.
another David Lynch show. Well, it's a show. He made a show called Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
And, like that song is more specifically that vibe.
Okay.
Whereas like other songs by him might be more like Mulholland Drive, the movie, or like even Eraserhead for some of them.
Okay.
These are things I might be suggesting to you down the road.
I haven't heard of these things.
It's great.
Okay.
David Lynch.
I've
I've heard
group.
that name
dude.
thrown around so much, and I don't have
Lunatic.
like art property to attach to the name
Yeah.
other than Twin
So
Peaks.
right off the bat, yeah, like the first few songs on this playlist, very different vibes. Like it kind of covers the spectrum of this artist, I feel like. And then there's the song Homage with Feist,
Mm-hmm.
who I don't, you know Feist?
No. I
No.
don't.
Feist did that song. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tell me that you love me. 1,
Yep.
5, 6, 7.
That sounds familiar.
Hold on, let me pull it up. Because they're on the same label, I found out. Feist and
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Timber Timbre.
I thought they sounded really good together.
Yeah. That song is so good. I think it's it sounds the least like the rest of his music. I think because Feist had a lot of say in it.
Yeah. that makes sense.
But that song is so good. That's the one where they're like singing over each other, like
Yeah.
parts,
Yeah.
and then that big like
Yeah,
Yeah.
that song is great.
thing comes in.
Yeah.
The one song that got to me was the
This song.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I know that song.
Yeah, you know that song. So that's her.
Yeah, I like that one. There was the other one was the Run From Me, Darling. That one.
Yeah,
I've
been waiting to talk about this one specifically with you. Because I heard that song because it goes so long where it's just like that slow
strumming,
and it feels like an old like Elvis song or something like that weird.
His
almost
voice
Western
is great.
vibe.
I do have to say, his voice is
so cool.
It's incredible.
Good. Yeah.
But then it hits that ending part, like the run.
Yep.
And dude,
okay.
Run.
When that happened though, I literally had a video concept idea.
Same.
And I was like, this feels like something Ryan would do. Like and I was like, I wonder if we literally thought of the exact same video
can I
idea.
explain to you what my first concept was?
Yeah,
like when
sure.
I heard of it was.
And mine is barely even a concept. It's just one aspect. But go ahead.
Because I love what you love about it is like you think he's first talking like you better run for me because like I'm not good for you. Run from me, darling.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You better run for your life, and it's like it's like he knows he's not good, but then you realize no, run because I'm gonna kill you and the man you cheated on me with, and I'm gonna get your bodies and I'm gonna bury. Like he goes into detail,
so dark,
and it's like you go, oh, okay, and I just imagined like this old school like country house, like multiple floors, almost like the house from Signs, and like there's just these scenes of like the house like showing it really beautiful and stuff, and then it kind of keeps like cutting to him from like shoulder up of him singing the song, and then as it gets darker, all the scenes zoom out, and you just see it's like a bloody mess, and he's like dragging the bodies down the stairs.
Yeah,
or like it's just like.
There's another song literally called "I'm Gonna Fly to Paris and Kill You."
Yeah, I want to talk about that with you.
Or the tall grass.
It gets so dark.
Coming to Paris to kill you. Yes. But the music is so pretty and like nice sounding, and it's just like I'm coming to Paris to kill you.
The only other artist I know who like not even musician who engages in this similar like duality of these themes is Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
Who uses such violent imagery and makes it beautiful.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
Like, and I love the uncomfortableness of it. And I think that's the thing that's hard about this music is it's like, as an art form, I'm super engaged. I'm super tuned in. I like where it's taking me, even though I'm uncomfortable with it. But I don't know how often I'm like, you know what? Let's throw some Timber Timbre on and let's just relax. It's like,
I have to be like ready for it. Yeah.
Yeah. You kind of got to go into like.
It's like 6 shots of moonshine. Like you just gotta have your whole day cut out for it.
Or like, hey, we're all gonna sit down and watch Hereditary.
Yes.
Like this movie is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Beautifully shot.
Yeah.
Everything's stunning about it, but it's just so.
It's gonna mess you up.
Okay, I have a question then, because you said when you pitched it to us, you were only just diving into it. Like you only listened to 5 songs. Like, how has your opinion of it changed since we talked about it last episode?
Yeah, I mean, mostly that the thing I said earlier was like, this is less of a go over the garden wall and more just like, and I actually, I moved more away from like, oh, this is kind of fall vibes. Like, this could be my fall playlist. To like
that's
no.
Okay,
I'm
so
not I'm not gonna tie this to a season.
Yeah.
Like, this is its own fucking thing.
This is also dead of winter when the power goes out.
Yeah, this is sitting in a dark basement.
It's that creature I keep locked up in the basement.
Yes.
I sometimes go down and talk to him. It's Babadook. It's the Babadook.
Yeah, it's Babadook. The 2 things I wanted to mention about that was I think the other thing that's really wild about his music is you can listen to it and you go, oh, that's really effed up and like that's like dark and too depressing. But all of us kind of relate a little bit to the lyrics. Like he does this thing where he eases you into the darkness.
That's what I'm saying is like you feel that darkness behind you and it's like, oh, did something get in here? And then you look and it's just your shadow. And it's just like easing you into the idea of like, hey, maybe you should self-reflect a little bit.
Yeah. Or
one song.
It's wild.
Too young to die or too old to die young.
Oh, so good.
That one's just like it's not even worth going into specifics about his songs because they all bring their own.
But there are
Sucker
some
Punch.
songs. There
Yeah,
are some
you
songs
just-
that I want to go into specific.
you just
There-
gotta
there's
listen
one,
to it.
I can't remember. I can't remember which song it was, but it's all about how he's like flying over this, like I think it was like a canyon or something, and he's like looking at all this beautiful scenery and stuff. He's talking like just super poetic, and then he just turns it to like he's like, I wish that it would open up and swallow this plane, like because he's like riding in a plane looking out at the scenery, and he's like, I just wanted to open up and swallow the plane. And I'm like, is that metaphorical or is that like
You literally want.
You
trying
literally
to
want
get
to
a
crash this plane.
right now? It's like, I kind of get that.
It's so wild.
I hate that I relate to that on some level.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, it's
Uh,
just.
But yeah, the video concept for Run that I thought of,
Oh yeah.
it was more just like, God, I'm so deep into TikTok content and making TikToks and shit that I thought of it as like, I could see this as like a TikTok trend. And it's funny because I actually found out about the band Timber Timbre on a TikTok.
Yeah.
But like, I pictured just the part where it's like, da 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 da.
Yeah.
Da-na-na, run. Da-na-na-na, da-na-na, run. Like, every time that I just pictured switching two angles and getting closer and closer each time. Every time he says run.
Yeah.
But, like, everything in the frame is just super still. Like, I almost pictured, like, a guy looking at a girl and, like, he looks like he's about to literally kill her, Like, and it's just that switching. Like,
And then every time it
instantly.
cuts, he's closer, and she's.
Well,
I
just the
see.
cameras, like the actual
Oh.
camera angles getting closer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's all this stuff is so visual. You
Yeah.
can't help but listen to it and see.
Yeah. It
Not even the
feels-
imagery he's talking
It
about.
feels like you're bordering dreams and nightmares the whole time you're
Mm.
listening to it.
Kind of like
Like-
how dreams are.
You're in that state, but you're like
Yeah.
hovering between like you're not sure if this is a dream or a nightmare the whole time.
I think the other thing too, I was surprised was how familiar his music felt at the same time. I think I've shown you some of like this experimental like out there stuff I listen to, like where it just is like purposely trying to go, hey, this isn't like anything you ever listened to. And I think I was expecting some of that, and then I was listening. I was like, I feel like this is like a song. I feel like this is an old dusty record that I put on.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then like something.
Yeah, you were
Something's a
kind you
little
were
off.
put off a little bit at first by the like otherworldly expectation of it, but then you
Yeah.
dove into it and you're like, oh, okay, I
Yeah.
kind of get the otherworldly.
Yeah,
aspect of
yeah.
it.
When that otherworldly was put there, I was like, oh, it's gonna be like super weird instruments and stuff. And it's like,
Yeah.
No, it's
It's more about that.
like the meta.
ambiance.
Yeah,
of
it's like the
song.
metaphysicalness of the music, like how it's so weird because it's not. I don't feel like there's anything, not anything, but I feel like it's less about the actual sound of the instruments or even his lyrics. It's just the combination of all of it leads you to
Yeah.
going to this
Mm-hmm.
otherworldly place.
Yeah, yeah.
So I hated it.
I think you did hit it on the head though, of like I really enjoyed my time with it. I don't know if I'll ever come back to it, but it's like this nice pocket in time that I spent with it,
Yeah.
It's kind of like, remember how there were movies or video like internet videos that you would find that you would just show so many
Yeah.
people, and it was like you'd experience it for the first time with the new person that you're
Yeah.
showing
It's
it
literally
to,
this podcast.
but you would literally never go back and watch the video by
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just to be experienced with someone for the first time. You
Yeah.
don't re-experience it.
Yeah.
Well, I had to say too, my experience of listening to it was taking a 7-hour road trip with Jackie through Ohio.
Did she have to listen
No,
to it?
I listened to it like on my AirPods while she took a nap.
Good call.
But like, it's Ohio country road.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Oh,
And
yeah.
It's just bright, the brightest, orangest trees.
So
And I
Midwest.
just go, I want to die.
know.
Dominic said these were fall vibes. These are not fall vibes. These are bury
These
me
are
now
me
vibes.
falling off a cliff
This
vibes.
is me being consumed by my own darkness. I literally was listening to one song and I was like, am I ready to die? Like that literally went through my head. And I was just like, it's like, man.
The song
I wonder
Bad
what-
Ritual.
Oh my God, I can't.
Dude. It's a bad ritual, but it calms me down. I'm like, dude,
it's so good. It feels
unbelievably relatable.
So relatable.
it's crazy.
But there's almost an aspect of like, is he talking about like killing people?
Yeah,
What's he talking
you're
about?
like, oh,
I
get that.
I want to apologize to our listeners on how dark this podcast has suddenly gotten.
It's like
I'm
the
sorry
Halloween episode.
if you were
It's
not.
gonna get-
Oh, it's the Halloween episode.
Why
I
not?
mean,
It's
for
coming
us.
out. This is gonna come out at Christmas, to be
Yeah.
honest.
It's Halloween for us.
It's
Christmas
Halloween
for
right
them.
now.
The rest of the
Ah,
episode's gonna get
man.
inspirational, I promise. But
Okay.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
So let's go dark. Let's
Fair
allow
enough, fair
ourselves
enough.
to go there.
We should put like a content warning in the episode description. Sorry. Okay.
I mean, but here's the thing: if you're listening to this podcast the way you should be, you should have already listened to the music.
That's fair.
So
Yes,
you've been
already
there.
in it.
Judge
You
it
need
for yourself.
you need to hear us explain what you went through, because that's our hope, is that the people are like listeners are actively trying these things along with us.
I will say that I am kind of mad at you.
Ooh.
Why is
I am
that?
kind of mad at you because it does feel
I'm
like
terrified of conflict.
you came into our podcast and beat us at our own game a little bit. Like you came in and pitched something that was one, completely foreign to the both of us.
Yeah.
And two, also was like hit so well. Like we both enjoyed it and like have a lot to say about it, obviously, and stuff like that, and like have come back with it with good things to say. And yeah, I just feel
So
like
I did a great job.
you hit the
You're
purpose of this
so
podcast
mad.
like, perfectly. I'm like, you're kind of making us look bad, Tom.
A little bit.
This is your podcast.
Wasn't
Talk
also
about it. I didn't come up with this podcast.
also wasn't the one before this when you recommended Visions?
Yeah, you're making me look horrible.
Yeah, so
What's Visions again?
Star Wars Visions.
You should
Oh, okay.
you should totally not ever watch it.
I'm not gonna watch any Star Wars stuff. I need the new stuff. New Star Wars stuff.
I liked
And it's animated.
I liked it.
Can I just say though, this
I
podcast
liked it,
is
though.
such a good idea.
Oh,
I
thank you.
because of that aspect of you'll gain, like, how to describe this. Podcasts, I think, are like the ones that get super successful are usually the ones where there's some kind of celebrity personality tied to it, or like have something else that ties into the podcast.
Yeah.
But this is just like, I mean, you guys are just like, to the vast majority of the public, you're just kind of these two guys.
Dudes.
Yeah.
But the concept is good enough, I think, to the point where people like that aspect of wanting to explore new things and then like talk about the new things.
Yeah.
You know, there's such a relational communication side of it. That,
Yeah,
Well, thanks,
that I
man.
love.
And I really appreciate that. And like Glenn and I have talked about it too. We're just like, just as much as we want to bring other people in, and anytime you are like, hey, I have something I think you guys would like, I'm down. But like also to have our audience members pitch us things. And
Yeah.
I just think of this as like the fastest moving hobby book club kind of thing where it's like,
And like I'll be listening to other podcasts. Like I listened to Your Mom's House with Tom Segura and Christina. And there's a lot of aspects of that show that I have no idea what they're talking about, and I'm like, ugh, and I like skip through it, and like, like this is like you're going into it with all the information that you need because you're setting it up for the next episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I feel like, that's one thing I really want this podcast to be, is really inclusive to the listeners of like, it's not just two guys chatting over here and like whether you're catching on or not is up to you. It's like, no, like you should go try this thing in between episodes so that you come back and like are involved in the convo.
Can relate to our reactions.
And like understand what we're talking about and stuff like
It's
that.
it's so like, I don't know what the word is,
Involving?
like global, like everyone could get into this podcast because like it's not so like there's sports podcasts and there's comedy podcasts and there's music podcasts where like people who don't do those things are not going to listen to those podcasts.
Yeah,
This is like it's open to anything, but in a narrow enough
field. Yeah.
lane that anyone can get into it. Yeah.
Thanks, man. And thanks for coming on. And
bringing
thanks
us
for,
new stuff.
Thanks for making this the darkest episode to date.
Yeah.
Yep.
I hope you can make it darker next time.
Sure.
Do you have any closing words?
Yeah.
Me?
You did plugs last time. Anything new you want to plug? Or?
Well, if this is coming out close to Christmas, then my band Good Hangs is going to be dropping an album.
Hey,
pretty soon.
Exciting.
Yeah, we're ideally it's going to be like 9 new songs.
Dang,
cool.
It's really, really cool.
Is this have you dropped albums before? How many albums deep are you?
We've put out one album,
Okay.
and then we've done like a bunch of singles. And this new album, the plan right now is to not have any of the singles that are out right now on the album.
Oh, okay.
I think except
all
for like
new
one
stuff.
maybe. But
Cool.
yeah, it's gonna be like all new.
Sweet, that's
stuff.
exciting.
Yeah.
Great.
So yeah, Good Hangs Band.
Check out Good Hangs on.
It's at Good Hangs Band for all the different
Socials.
social medias. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, check them out.
All right.
Thanks
you
for
for
having
being
me.
Thanks
Yeah.
so much. Really appreciate you being on. Hopefully you're on again in the future if you're
Yeah.
down. Yeah.
Yeah. super.
Anytime you have something to
I
bring
go
us.
through all that and I'm like, I never want to do this again.
Yeah, you're like, this is a great podcast. And don't ever have me back.
Or even if you don't have time to like come on and stuff, if you have suggestions, send them in the email.
Yeah.
In the
Hit
email.
us up with stuff. Yeah. Recommendations required
Hey.
at gmail.com.
Let's go.
Yeah.
All right,
Wait a
we're gonna
second.
go to
I'm going to-
possibly our. Wait, we're
I'm going to that the When We Were Young festival this weekend. So
oh yeah.
Hopefully I
you
won't
can see My
die.
Chemical Romance.
Yeah, I think so.
So good.
Nice.
I didn't even tell you about that concert.
No. No, I wish I could have made it.
Maybe off the air.
Yeah.
All right.
Is it messed up that we're all just thinking like there's going to be a mass shooting? We're just going to die.
Jackie said the same thing when I went to the concert. I was just like, dude, here's the. Man, we're going so late, but this is gonna be a long episode, guys. Just hold on.
We're getting dark. We're getting dark.
So I go to Riot Fest, right?
Very messed up.
And I've never been to Riot Fest.
Okay.
And I had
so many people.
there was there was a lot of people.
When We Were Young, it's going to be that many people.
I don't go to film. No, my gosh, I don't go to music festivals like ever. I'm
Yeah,
like
I
not.
just go to
I'm
some
not
of
a
those.
concert
Yeah.
person
Yeah.
like at all. But go with Mike. We go to My Chemical Romance. Super excited. And then my friend who's gone to Riot Fest before, he's like, "Hey, just a heads up, it gets pretty crazy there."
Rowdy.
Mm.
These, to be fair, I was what almost felt like a mile away from the stage, but it was the like nicest and most compassionate group of people
Really?
I think I've ever been around.
Wow.
Like-
I would not expect
Like
that.
people, dressed totally in black, and then just being like My Chemical Romance, which, like, to be fair, kind of killed the whole mood of the My Chemical Romance, but I'm glad that he was like respectful and stuff. He like stopped the concert after every single song and personally said, "Hey, can everyone just back up like
Oh,
3
yeah.
steps?" And
After
like,
the incident with,
what was it?
what's his name?
Not Lil
Was it
Nas.
Juice WRLD?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Juice WRLD concert when...
I was at a 21 Pilots concert and there was people being like pushed against the front bar and had to be like pulled out in
Yeah, that's
an
the thing.
ambulance and
But,
stuff.
like,
yeah,
That's
it's
crazy.
crazy.
I think
everybody-
he was really combating that. I saw some stuff about that.
Yeah,
That's
and it
good.
was like nice. It kind of killed the mood for me a little. Who cares? Like,
Sure,
I'd rather
yeah.
have them safe.
Rather have
But it's just
safe
funny
people,
because it's
yeah.
like
Yeah.
My Chemical Romance, and it's just,
Yeah.
he's like, could everybody just please take 3 steps? Like he's just like that.
Yeah.
Like not at all what I imagined.
Gerard Way.
And then
Yeah.
and he was also doing it in a old Italian woman dress.
Yeah.
So it was just a trip, the
Good,
whole thing.
yes.
It was great. But then like everyone else is screaming at everyone behind them and like in a respectful way, but like, can everyone please move? Like,
Yeah.
anybody need water? Like, they're just like everyone's hugging
So
and
nice.
nice, and I'm
Wow.
just like, this is not a
awesome.
riot. Not what I expected.
This is not a riot.
love
This is
that
not a
vibe.
riot.
I
Like,
love that
I'm here
vibe.
for it. I love it.
That's a great vibe.
And then it
Sounds more like a Ryan Fest.
it's Ryan Fest, a Doug Fest. only the 3 of us will get that. But the other, what was I gonna say? It made me also when I re-listened to the My Chemical Romance songs, I'm like, these are like for just really sensitive people. Like,
Yeah.
like I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, the emo vibe. I kind of, yeah,
Yeah.
just like just sad.
yeah, that's
just,
the vibe.
Just sad people.
Bunch
Yeah.
of them.
Just the
Libs.
baddest. I didn't say it. You said it. Episode 7
I gotta
our
go.
naughtiest episode.
God.
That's the caption. All right, get out of here.
Okay.
All right, we are back.
We're back.
We just had a quick conversation. So last episode, I was supposed to suggest something or recommend something.
Sure.
And I didn't. Dominic did instead.
Yeah, we had a guest.
Which was really fun.
I loved
would,
it, yes.
Yeah, they would do it again.
I would definitely.
So I'm going to recommend something.
Okay.
And I think what I'm actively trying to do right now is to try and hit every medium or every type of thing. And so I'm going to recommend the first book.
Oh man, that was my tactical nuke. okay. I have a book lock and loaded for you too. I want it to be the first book, but go ahead.
This book
Okay.
is, I feel like I can't even think of the baseball analogy. Is a left fielder? Is that the analogy? Hi, I'm Ryan.
Out of left
I don't
field?
play sport. Yeah, it's out of left field.
Okay.
It's just like, because I feel like there's a general vibe that we've been keeping with, right? Like board games and wacky music and like, have you done any TV? Yeah, TV. I guess.
A horrible TV show in your opinion.
Well, Welcome to Wrexham was pretty good.
Oh, Welcome to Wrexham. Yeah, is also good. Yes.
Okay. So this book, after I finished listening to Timber Timbre, I finished listening to this book.
Okay.
And my thing is, I think you should try to finish this book in 2 weeks.
Oof, okay. I will be honest with you. I am finishing the last quarter of a book that I need to finish, but I will do my best. I will do my best.
So it's on Audible.
Okay.
I only listen to books now. I think officially pretty much given up on ever sitting down and reading a book. Come at me.
Okay.
Like, I get it.
Okay. I'm also listening to the book I'm thinking about.
I've only finished books that I've that's not completely true, but like in the last maybe 2-3 years, I've only finished books that I've really like listened to.
Yeah, I very much enjoy listening to books, and if I'm really into the book, I love to listen while I'm reading it. I'm dyslexic, so I can't.
I have ADHD, so
yeah, my brain moves faster than I can read words, so books
really
become very
frustrating.
boring,
Yep.
and frustrating unless I'm listening to audio. Then it speeds the whole process.
And
up.
I think for this book, you have to listen to it if it's the fastest. Whatever is going to get you through the fastest is the best. And I'll get into a second why.
Okay.
But the other aspect is it's a book that once you read it, your experience with it is not done.
Okay.
So I know I'm being it's not as exciting, but
Okay.
it's okay. So I recommended a podcast to you, not on this podcast, off air, called SPI, Smart Passive Income, with I think
Yep.
Pat Flynn. Don't hold me to that. Sorry, Pat, if I got your last name wrong.
Okay.
He had a guest on called Richie Norton, who wrote a book called Anti-Time Management.
Anti-time management.
Yes. So this is the book that I'm recommending.
Interesting. Okay.
I know. So, man, how do I do this?
This is very out of left field. This
I
is
know.
not what I was
this
expecting.
is what I'm saying. Like it's not.
This is good. I love it. I want suggestions out of left field.
I'll give a little. Man, there's just so many ways I could tackle this, and I'm trying to think. So the thing about this book is that I was listening to it, and it has radically changed how I perceive work, how I perceive the time that I'm given. And you and I have also had conversations specifically about like how broken our country is when it comes to spending time with our family and work-life balance. And so
the hustle culture.
The hustle culture, and then
Yeah.
also how it kind of demands that you need to be like that.
Yeah.
So this book, I need to start off by saying it has some of the most the worst corporate jargon I've heard in a very long time. And what I mean by that is like, you don't find the dreams in you, the dreams find you, and that, like, that kind of like, it's the first 2 chapters are just that. And it's like
the very nonsensical thing that like you
it's
understand what he's saying, but you don't.
And there's a couple of them that he drops. I'm like, ooh, that's good. But like most of them are just like, you just said the same thing backwards.
Yeah.
Like I almost quit on this book 2 chapters in.
Okay.
And I was like, I don't know if I can do much more of this. And I stuck with it, and I was like, okay, this is pretty fantastic. So the whole concept really breaks down to that time management was designed in the Ford kind of industrial era of America. Yep. Similar to where our school structure comes from, which is a whole nother can of worms.
Deep dive I've taken many times.
Yeah, yes. Exactly.
And my wife is a teacher.
Same with mine. Yeah. So it's all broken.
Yeah.
And the issues that vacation time and breaks are all created to make sure that you work more. Yeah. Not that you actually are given balance in your life.
Yeah.
And so what this book does is it applies to people who are starting their own business, but it also applies to people in like an employee position.
Yeah.
And what he does is he goes, what if instead of trying to work your way to your dreams, you actually start your dreams at the beginning and figure out, how do I do one thing that tackles multiple of my objectives is the wrong word, but like priorities.
Sure.
So what he does is he runs you through these exercises of creating these different things of like, what's my personal priority? What's my family priority, my work priority, like things that matter to me in these areas. And then what he calls project stacking. You think of ways to achieve multiple of those or all of them.
Yeah, with
by single tasks.
Same task, yeah.
And so he starts to kind of break it down, and I feel like it tackles so many things we talked about in our conversations. And specifically, I feel like you will love it, and also it will drive you up the wall because of the possibilities that you will start to see.
Okay. Can I tell you my first reaction to this? Just hearing you describe it. It does sound very TikTok life coach guru.
Yeah, 100%.
It like the things you were saying sound very much like a person who's on TikTok and just like is trying to sell you a course on how to be successul in life.
Yeah.
You know, that's the vibe I'm getting so far.
100%. Which I think is a fair thing to bring up.
Which I to be fair, I feel like there are TikTok accounts where I do feel like they're actually trying to like help people achieve their goals. And there's also just a lot of TikTok accounts or any social media accounts where they're like spouting this like, oh, you can quit your job and basically live your life on vacation 24/7, blah, blah, blah. And all you need to do is take these 3 simple steps that are in my course that's only $100. Like that kind of thing. Like there's much more of that. But there's some good and a lot of bad.
And I think there might, like, I could see someone reading this and walking away from it. But I think it's given me a lot of different perspective of like, I think just the mental shifts in thinking about, okay, let's say my goal is to, like, okay, here's like a tangible example of how I've been trying to apply it to my business. So something that I do pretty regularly is make videos. And so I've been wanting to make higher end videos, bigger projects, which often means that I'm shooting, editing, directing, doing a lot of the like roles in it. And what I've been aiming for is to go out and travel for these projects, right? Like, it sounds bigger than it was, but like I did a project in Mexico, went down there and shot, and it was like, it was a really like cool experience, and like to have more of that kind of stuff. But I started to think, if my goal is to make this money by doing these projects, like I'm also going to be spending time away from my family, and I'm going to be time traveling. And does it make sense for me to position my business in a way that says I want to create these projects because that satisfies my professional like side, but if it does take off, then what happens to my family and what happens to my social life and what happens to my, time serving in my community.
Yeah.
Like, how do those things then get affected? And so then the conversation turns away from how do I achieve that and have these things, but instead, what is a single thing that achieves all of these at the same time?
Yeah.
So it made me start to think about, what if our production company instead was positioning more as a post-production that allows me to grow a team faster, that allows me to stay remote if I want to, that allows me to travel with my family if I want to travel.
Yeah.
And so it started to get me to think about things differently. I don't think this book is the key to like unlocking success and unlocking anyone who's going to tell you that, I think it's BS. Like, it's just like,
but it's a good thing to get you thinking about things. And
I think it's a different mental shift. And what I was drawn to the entire time was like, so much of these corporate books are like, he does talk numbers, like, this is a client I was working with, and this is what they did, and this is how much they were making, and how, like, one of them was a woman who had 4 kids. She also wanted to start her therapist company, like a counseling company, but she's a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
So the culture tells you have to pick.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, you don't. Let's talk about how do we strategize and create a system that makes that work. And I'm like, this is where my head goes as I go, here's Glenn, who's working a really awesome, like, full-time job. You also want to do woodworking. Mm-hmm. You also have a family. You also have a kid, and you also are running a podcast. There's a lot of moving parts. Like, it's not sustainable for you to give all of those 100%.
Yeah.
You have to shift those percentages around in the time. And so to be able to start to think more creatively about these things rather than assuming this is what the system tells me I have to do and how I have to function. And I think out of all my friends, not complaining is the wrong word, but are the most vocal about those issues.
Yeah.
And so it's like, as I was reading it and thinking about the different concepts and getting excited about implementing them, I was like, I feel like there's some cool stuff that, like, Glenn, as well as other people, because he also it comes off like you can only do this if you start your business, your own thing. But he also talks about having conversations with your boss about, this is what I would love this to look like, and how does that function, and how does that work?
Yeah.
But yeah, what are your? I know it's a left field. It's different than anything we've talked about.
Yeah. No, I'm like jiving with it. I don't know. I'm on TikTok a lot more than you are.
Yes.
But
100% more.
I feel like a lot of the things you are saying I've already heard on TikTok, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Not to like degrade what you're saying at all, but I do feel like this, maybe it's even been this author that I've seen on TikTok for all I know.
Does he have long hair?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. But I do feel like there's a lot of people on TikTok who are saying these things, probably one, because they're reading this book and shifting their mindset as well.
Yeah.
And two, I feel like it is a cultural
it's a shift we're all going.
Shift that is happening countrywide, I think, right now on this big shift towards a work-life balance and like balancing your ideals and what you want out of your job. And I think it's pretty common for a lot of people to be more vocal about that balance.
Yeah.
Like 20 years ago, I feel like people would be afraid to get fired if they talked about wanting to balance that more. But now, like, if you talked about that, I feel like people are much more open to that conversation.
100%.
Whether it's your boss or your family or whatever it is. You know?
Yeah. I think it's like also one of those things that if you're consuming that concept through TikTok, how deep can they really go into it?
Sure, yeah, it's
like,
a short form media. You're getting like those quote snippets a lot, you know.
Yeah.
Or it'll be like, oh, follow my channel for more tips, you know, and then you can go scrolling through the whole thing, and you turn short form media into long form media.
That's fair.
But I'm interested to hear it in book form.
I feel hesitancy.
Weird, you know, I guess I am slightly hesitant. I feel like I can already feel I have this notion that it's going to be very like fake life guru kind
Okay.
of vibe.
Okay. Yeah.
Which I'm trying to
I
push
can
out
see.
of my mindset. I'm trying to push that out because
Yeah.
I know probably won't be the case. But that's just like my
Yeah.
initial gut reaction to that is I tend to be I don't know if there's a good word for it.
Skeptic.
Yeah, skeptic's not the best word, but skeptical, especially of what I'm just gonna call TikTok gurus. They've become like so popular and create such a following of people who are just following because of the things they are saying without really acting on those things.
Okay,
or like,
so that was. Okay, I'll let you start. I'll let you
you know,
finish, 'cause
like
that's
like people. I don't even want to use brainwashed, but I'm going to say brainwashed.
Yeah.
Like people just get so brainwashed by the promises in quotes I'm making of these things that people are making. It's very like charlatan-esque, and I'm very, very wary of myself getting sucked into that.
Yeah,
like every time I hear like a good quote like that or something, or someone saying like, oh, you can change your life by doing this thing. I think my initial gut reaction is like, okay, I heard what you said, but I'm going to really question the thing you said.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to blindly say like, oh, you're right. I should quit my job and buy 5 Airbnb properties right now and become a landlord. I feel like that's the biggest thing right now is everyone is like, quit your job, buy as much property as possible and become a landlord. I'm like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
But if everyone did that, there wouldn't be land for people to buy. Like, that's physically impossible. You know, and it's just like I get very skeptical very quick of quick promises like that, you know?
Yeah, and I think that's the thing for me in this book because I'm the same way. In fact, I will just not listen. If you can't have a in-depth conversation with me about that concept, then it's like, to me, it feels more like a thing to go, oh, my TikTok isn't just funny stuff. I also look at useful things that I'll never do and will actually just make me feel insecure that I'm maybe not doing enough. Like, that's what those to me feel like.
Yeah.
And like, they feel like fast cash grabs.
Yes. Yeah.
Everything in this book, to me, feels like how do you integrate your priorities into your day-to-day so that you're not building a future that you're never going to experience.
Okay. Yeah.
That
I
tip,
feel
like
I feel like I've heard this exact thing before.
Which
it's really eating at the back of my head. I feel like I've heard someone specifically say for people building new businesses is
I'm gonna pull up a picture of him real
Okay.
quick while you're talking.
Don't build the business so that you can have like the future of spending more time with your family or something because you will just always be working an 80-hour work week.
Yeah.
Like you'll just keep pushing yourself and you'll never achieve the goal you're actually trying to get to. You need to build your business now.
This is kind of what it looks
to
like.
work
Not
in,
what it kind of looks like. That is what it looks like.
Oh, yes.
So you've
I've seen that guy.
Okay.
So yeah, you need to build your business around that concept now of spending more time with your family so that it stays within the business's core the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing. I've seen that video like multiple times, which it feels like is getting at the same idea.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know if that guy specifically is the one who I saw say it, but I've definitely seen him on TikTok before. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's like he brings like actual practices to it. Okay. Like conceptually it's like, okay, cool. How do I do that though?
Yeah.
And so he talks about like,
he's putting function.
How do you determine what those things are? And how do you make because the other thing he brings up, which I thought was really interesting, is like, what if you're trying to achieve a future that you actually don't want? But you don't know until you get there.
Yeah.
And so to start implementing these aspects of it and start to create these systems that help, and to not say that it necessarily means quit your job, do this thing, and then you're going to achieve all your goals and dreams. Like, I think anyone who says that to you is like, they don't know what they're talking about. Like they're trying to sell you something. Then.
Yeah.
And like, to me, the book allowed me to start thinking also about like, I'm very much about like trying to have a holistic life when it comes to all the aspects of like what I'm doing, work, relationships, like friendships, like even this podcast. Like to me, this is a friendship and it's community and it's building fun content and it's work. Like, it's kind of doing multiple. It's like what we're talking about.
Like, to be honest, this podcast, especially right off the bat, I feared it would be like a lot of work and overtaxing. Like, I felt like it was another thing being thrown on my plate, and I was a little worried about that. but I almost feel like this podcast has brought me some balance of like before this podcast, like we hung out occasionally, but in my opinion, not enough. You might differ on your opinion.
No, I agree. No, 100% agree.
But like I really missed like
yeah,
our connection that we have, and like the like I think you said this like episode 1, the way we like let loose and hang out and like play games, you know, that kind of thing of like I was missing a lot of that. And I still like did it a lot, but like this gives me like a consistent flow of it.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
that like I feel like keeps me balanced.
And it's work, and it's also creative.
Yeah.
Like this is a perfect
this is
example.
checking a lot of boxes.
And that's what I'm saying is like, what if there were more things
like that?
Yeah. Like one of the things he talked about is like, okay, I want to work and make money. I also want to travel with my family, and I also want to serve with this certain organization. What if I could do work with that organization overseas with my family?
Yeah. Makes sense, yeah.
So, and so it's just, to me, it is not, again, like, I get the hesitancy, and I think go in with it, right? Because it's also like, don't expect to open the book and your dreams are going to be true by the end of it.
Yep.
I think it just brings up some interesting concepts, and it brings up some really helpful exercises. And while I don't feel like it has changed my life, I think it's really helped me think practically about the future, because you know me, I'm so big picture oriented, but then it's like, how do you execute that?
I very much appreciate when the content itself is, rather than promising you a goal, is just, or like giving you an answer, is just provoking thought. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Of like, I much prefer when it's something that's like, I can't promise that you are going to reach this goal, or I can't just hand you this goal, but like, here's some things to think about that might like point you in the right direction.
And I
appreciate stuff like that way more.
And I will say, like, it's corporate, so it has, I can't say if it, I can't remember if it feels super promising about what you can achieve. I think he just talks about all the examples of clients that he's worked with that this has happened. I think the thing that I also am really drawn to is like the first couple chapters, he just kind of explains his life, and it's like horrible, the stuff that has happened to him. Like, life has just handed him like sucker punch after sucker punch, and I think it has just forced him into this mentality of like time. Like, one of the events of a lot of the horrible events is his like youngest son dying.
Whoa,
like not like small things, and like his I'm gonna butcher it, like, but like I think his like wife gets a stroke and has like short-term memory loss for a while. His other son gets into a car accident, has total fate, like just like horrific events one after another. And like you listen to that and you go, this dude like understands how valuable time is.
Yeah.
And like a lot of what he creates is
quickly.
around his son passing away, going like, you just got to make the most of this.
Yeah.
And we can't be wasting our lives chasing a dream that we might never get to.
Yeah.
And like,
that's fair.
And I think he like, what he does is he then also like breaks down the math of it. Like, one of the situations was, there was a guy who owned a gym, and he wanted to take his sons to Europe. And he's like, okay, I'll be able to do that in 5 years on this trajectory, right?
Sure.
And he's like, okay, but like they're going to be in college. Are they going to be around for you to take them there?
Yeah.
And so you don't think about that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you can start playing these math games of, at this point, I'll be able to do blank. But it just helps you think, like, hold on a second.
It really makes me think. I've been in a very interesting scenario recently. Obviously, I just had a kid, so like, it's been equally stressful, but at the same time, very like, it has brought so much joy to my life and so much inspiration. I've felt such a motivation to like really achieve my goals as an example. For my child, even though she's only like 17 months old, she doesn't know what's going on. But you know what I mean? Like, I felt like I want to lead by example, so like I should be following my dreams, and it's motivating me more. But I feel like I've also found this new appreciation for time, because My parents recently retired.
Yeah.
Like 2 years ago now, 2 or 3 years ago, 3 years ago now. And I had like an awesome childhood, and we spent a lot of time together, and we went on vacations all the time. But I do get the sense from my parents that they want to be spending a lot more time with me than they currently are. We see each other quite frequently, like at least once or twice a week most of the times. But it's mostly in passing or very quickly. And I get the sense that they want to spend a lot more time with me, and I wish I had that time to give them. But I graduated college, and now I work a full-time job,
absolutely.
40 hours a week, and I have my own hobbies I want to get after, and now I have
your
a child
own family
and my own family,
exactly.
and that's like really tough to balance. So like it's really made me reflect on the time I have of like, okay, not only do I have like this limited time with my parents, you know, like they're still fairly young for my parents, but you know, like,
hi, Mr. and Mrs. Brown.
It's hi. I hope it's okay that I'm talking about you on this podcast, but like I also know that their time is limited, but also my time with my child is limited. Like 18 years sounds like a long time, but 18 years is really fast. Like before I know it, my kid's gone, you know, and like that's wild to think about. So it's just really kicked into like the past couple of years, this overdrive of understanding my time is very valuable.
And like and I said the second half was going to be more inspirational, but maybe it's not. maybe this is our darkest.
Just the dark episode.
This is the dark episode. It's fine. But like Jackie's been going through a lot of health stuff, and like after her surgery, I didn't work for 2 weeks, but I was like able to do that.
Yeah.
And things were able to happen, and I was able to drive her to treatments every day because of my flexibility. And I was like, I don't know what the heck would have happened if I had a different work situation. And the value of time, like just having such weight that it's reading this book, and it's like, and it's why I specifically thought of you out of all my friends. One, because your life is so busy, but you also, I know, are actively trying to be the best employee, husband, father, and friend you can be. And like, you don't half-ass any of that. And so like, to me reading this, I was like, I feel like that can be a lot. And
I mean,
and yeah, it's like everyone's doing it, right? Like, and you are doing it. But I just thought like this book, as I was reading, I was like, I was getting these ideas, and I just feel like maybe it will be very TikTok guru, and you'll get to the end of it, and you're like, dude, I didn't get anything from this, and it'll be a swing and a miss. My hope is that you go, dude, I got some ideas. That's my hope.
Okay.
My hope is that you finish this book, and maybe you don't know how you're going to execute something, but you're just like, I have some ideas of how to like thoughts. So hold on, because the corporate language is just almost unbearable in my opinion for the first couple chapters.
Can I ask how long the book is? Like either like audio hours or like pages or whatever.
It's 7 hours.
Oh, okay. That's no big deal.
Hold on, let me.
I will say I am really appreciating this suggestion, because I always feel like I'm running out of podcasts to listen to, and I feel like listening to books is like kind of a more valuable use of that time. So I have been looking for
6 hours and 57 minutes.
Oh, well, I'll talk to you about it tomorrow.
Exactly. So I'm horrified after this conversation.
Horrified?
I don't know.
Really?
It's just like
You think I'm gonna come back and roast you?
You might.
Okay.
I don't think you will.
Okay, we'll see. You know me. I just roast you all the time.
Yeah, you're so
always a hater. Yeah.
It's not like you enjoy every content. We had a conversation about this episode 2 or something.
About this. Yeah. I'm just always overly positive about everything.
Any final thoughts? So you'll read this book, listen to it.
Yeah, I'll read this book, and we'll come back.
We'll see if it's if it's inspirational or if it's just a 7-hour TikTok.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Which is fair.
Yeah. But yeah, I hope, I don't know. I hope I hope the listeners know what I mean when I say
absolutely.
Okay, and I'm not just like hating on a ton of people that are actually trying to achieve their dreams. Like there are people out there that are actually trying to help people, and I'm not trying to hate on literally every person, but I think
I think you can tell when someone is and to me, this is what that book feels like. Is like, I'm actually trying to help people, and I actually care about you trying to achieve things that matter to you, and you get to fill in what those blanks are. And then there's other people that are like, let me show you how to reach all your dreams in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's like,
okay.
Whatever.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's
Yeah.
like, it's success porn. That's like
Yes,
what,
yes,
it is.
That's exactly what it is. Yes.
So
yeah.
So we'll see.
Okay.
Oh man.
I'm you know, I just had this thought. I'm really curious to see if our listeners read this book and what they say about it after
Yes.
reading it and like hearing the episode and stuff. Like all this other stuff like board games is very like fun and like you either it was your thing or like I had a lot of fun with it. But this will be a very interesting thing to like hear people's feedback on.
100%.
Yeah.
And if they want to give us feedback specifically on this book, what do they do, Glenn?
Well, we are on TikTok. As we're talking about that, Instagram and Twitter, all of them recommendations required. And if you want to contact us directly, our email is recommendationsrequired@gmail.com.
Yep.
So yeah, if you have questions, comments, I don't know, maybe I'll even read some write-ins on our episodes or suggestions or recommendations.
I would love to.
Please send them there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you can tell us about how horrible this book was, or how it changed your life.
Yeah,
or
I really want to get. I really want to expand the conversation to people listening to this podcast.
Absolutely.
I know we don't have like hundreds of people listening yet, but hopefully
Let's
one day we get some
know.
people
Never
writing
know.
in and we get the combo going.
A couple shout outs I want to give to is the music you've been hearing at the beginning and the end of every episode is actually Dominic Pieri, who we just had on this episode. So he's been
Very
doing all of our
talented
music.
artist.
And I think that's it.
Yeah. Editing by Ryan Young.
Editing currently by me. Hopefully not for much longer. Produced by 4-7 Productions.
Yep.
Um,
Social media managed by
Glenn
Brown.
By Glenn Brown. By the notorious Glenn Brown. I think that's episode 7. We'll see what you think of the book, and then we'll get a new recommendation.
Yeah.
All right.
Looking forward to it.